Thank you very much.
Excellency, Your Excellency, distinguished guest and honorable guest, ladies, gentlemen, I'm Elio Ciralli. I'm coming from Italy too, like Leopoldo Franco. I am the last one of these morning speakers, so I have the commitment to save a little bit of time. I will go a little bit quick. The theme of the conference, Coastal Areas, Opportunities and Challenges, could be the second title or the main title of my presentation. I will discuss about planning and design of rehabilitation of industrial and urban waterfront. These are the main contents. You listened this morning several problems and several concepts very well expressed by the speakers, discussing about problems that happens all over the world. The same problems that you are experiencing in this part of the world are the same problems that in other parts of the world was studied and solved, sometimes with good solution, sometimes not so good solution, but this is a typical evolution of what happened in coastal areas. These are the contents of today's. I go quick on the basic concept of my presentation. Was said before that a large amount of citizens, a large amount of people lives in a very short stripes near the coast. This would be the picture of the world about the fact that the production and the problems of urbanism are on the coasts mainly. Communities in the same time, with the change of behaviors, change of customs of our societies, need more and more spaces, common spaces to share. This is the case that our towns must be reimagined. This is the reason for which we are here this morning. Reloaded, we have to think to product new ideas and possibly to recycle it, because with the lack of investments that are normal for this period of the story in large part of the world, we have to recycle more and more our spaces and our infrastructures. Waterfront are excellent, resilient urban areas. Waterfront are the best place that can support the change of societies years and decades after decades. What happened in a typical urban waterfront? At the first years there is the settlement, then the port established, then the city detached from the port. After some years there is the decline of the use of the coastal areas, and after a period for the needs of the community, these spaces are to be rediscovered. So there is the rediscovery of what happened. On the right you can see some typical that happened in many towns of Europe, like in Palermo, my town. All over the world, many problems like this, the needing to reuse waterfronts, the need of rehabilitation. Many projects were done all over the world. One very known for people that study, researchers, designers, planners, is the case of Baltimore in Harbor. These are some pictures of what happened from a precedented industrial port, industrial place, new project to recover space to share with people and citizens. Many projects all over the world, but be aware, good, bad, and bad things have been done. Not often the results are the same that the politicians or the planner or the designer want to obtain. And this case were well studied from many researchers and from designers and planners to investigate some important technical concepts that have to be taken in account for this kind of planning and design. For the strength, about the strength of this kind of planning and design, there is for sure an increase of real estate property values. I will give very quick, I don't want to read all the page, but it's out-of-duped in our experience that this kind of projects are really useful for communities. So it's important to think the better result to obtain. Negative effect, important like the positive one. We have to avoid the standardization of intervention, to approach in the same way for all kind of situation is absolutely wrong. Exaggeration in pure real estate logic is not the way of constructing pure real estate logic, the way for solution. Excessive tourism commercial functions. This is really often used in the Mediterranean basin, for instance, where sometimes the print of the tourism commercial functions became very, very dominant, very, very important, and sometimes can be not a good result. Separation with urban fabric, another negative effect. Aim of high profit, excessive limitation of public access to the waterfront. These are things that resulted in bad success stories. One of the most important learned lessons is to discuss this kind of project with the stakeholders, with people that can be interested in this part, in this zone of the communities. So discussing perhaps a project, a plan before the project, can be better and better optimized to have the good result. So this is one of the most important concepts, to discuss with other stakeholders before, to avoid problem after. Another issues for waterfront development is for sure described from this slide, from the financial feasibility, but the perception, the right perception of the need of the communities, and to give authenticity when it's possible, imagine a good shape of the reconstruction that you want to obtain. And for this reason, you have to well investigate the needs of the community and the way to give the right answer to that community. Waterfront regeneration, we shall see following this aspect. So, before all, defining what is the waterfront in that specific case, making a master plan. This is the result of the discussion between stakeholders. Sit around the table and discussing about how to solve all the needs. This is the concept of the integrated coastal zone management that we discussed this morning. Then fostering the physical and economic climate. Try to investigate how it's possible to do the things that we want to do. And working in partnership is normal with public authorities, private organizations, and community groups. And then reviewing in continuously time after time, the master planning, to be sure, monitoring that this is solving the main problems that you want to solve. Sustainability is another main issue. Is out of doubt that one of the main goals to have common spaces, shared spaces, space used for different scopes is the sustainability. We have to aim to a good ambient, good environment, good quality of waters, and so on. I don't read all the good things that have to be taken in account in these cases. Hinge concept was well expressed in 2004. Cities seeks a waterfront that is a place for public enjoyment. Under the basis of this concept, perhaps you can think what is better to do when you have to rehabilitate an urban or industrial waterfront. So to have space that can be used for different reasons is the right solution, and the best is to try to find the right equilibrium between different needs. Recreation navigation infrastructure, notice a case that I discuss about the recreation navigation infrastructure. In fact, in this moment, I am honored to be in Piank, the chairman of the Recreation Navigation Commission, discuss a lot about these matters and produce a lot of technical documents so you can reach the website to download them. Many of these concepts are contained in the Recreation Navigation in Coastal and Inland Waters. That is a position paper that was written by our commission that you can find also translated in Farsi. Social importance of recreation navigation infrastructure is a different way to use coast, but very near to the need of moving. Someone this morning said that the next future is not only industrial and commercial. It's also cruise, passengers, boating, and so on. All the kind of use that can shorten the distance between people and water. People a use of water. Boating is the perfect way to give the people the possibility to leave water and transportation by water in a very, very primitive way, like sensitive point of view. These are the services that a typical recreation navigation infrastructure have to give to the community. Not only boats, not only user of the boats, but especially also to the whole community. It can be a new full urban opportunity for the large amount of people. In this case, if well planned and designed, marina can be really supportive in the project and the plans for refurbishing, for reusing waterfront, and for new development projects. After this consideration, could be really easy to understand how can be taken in consideration from public investor or private investor to try to give an hand in this direction. So the common efforts between public and private in this kind of project can result in a really good success for the whole communities, because private parts can invest to obtain a revenue, public in the same time can permit projects that go in the direction of be enjoyed by citizens. The quality of planning and design is one of the main issues. It's really important that very skilled professionals, like the president of this hall, are involved in this kind of project. Many problems have to be solved with very skilled professionals. In this case, Piank, for instance, from more than 100 years, helps professionals in keeping a good quality of knowledge in our technical facts. And for instance, in the case of waterfront rehabilitation, we have a specific program called Marina Designing Training Program that is related to the full aspects of the waterfront rehabilitation to help colleagues to maintain high the quality level of this kind of themes. Last minutes, only to present a case study of this concept. How can public part and private part merge together to find a way to propose something really useful for communities? Was the case of my town, La Bandita in Palermo. This is the picture of the geographical position of La Bandita. It means La Bandita, we have many terms that come from Arabic language. In this case, in English, is a banished woman. Our company was involved in the proposing master planning of intervention that can solve many problems of this part of the town that was completely abandoned with big problems. And after many studies we would do, we started with a lot of discussion with the stakeholders to investigate what could be really interesting for community and how we can merge public needings and private needings to have a good result. Some picture of the situation of La Bandita before the planning. We are in the design phase in this moment. The typical approach for this case is from the other technical culture. We have to do a typical SWOT analysis and to try to investigate strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, to define the problems, and then to find strategies